Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad to hear this morning. We've got a great show lined up. And listen, the guests this morning, they sent me the pictures the night before. I always say, oh, these pictures are great. Can't wait to show them. When I got the pictures last night, I said two words. Holy cow, look at these. So this is the kind of guests we're going to have today. So you're going to stay tuned. You're going to be excited. I'm going to rush through the weather. It's brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard and a group up there in Southport doing a good job. High today, 82, low 73. Water temperature 82 at the end of the pier. River reading brought to us by Mountain Dew. Only outdoors with Mountain Dew. Apalachicola Bluntstown 9.3. It's about to level off. It may be a level for the weekend. We got rain a little bit each day, but it's not real high right now. Choctahatchee at Caryville, it's still dropping a little bit. It's reading a 7.3 this morning. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn right here on 23rd Street. Good tide today. The last day of June, we're looking at a high of 12:05 noon, and then low tonight at 10:52. Sort of flipped around. We've had some really high tides the last couple of mornings. I've seen it myself. And our wind direction will be coming out of southeast at 6. We're going to take a quick break and come back with our special guest. Welcome back and welcome to our guests, Roy Dillon and Fred Bagshaw. Welcome to the show, guys.
Yes, sir. Thanks for inviting us.
Hey, listen, I've known this guy a long time. His daughter's been on the show. Fred, his wife played basketball for me way back in the day, Stephanie. And your son, you heard a guy named Chase Seifert, the golfer. That's their son right there. So, but these guys are divers. And they're not just divers. The stories they have, they brought this up. We can't cram it in one show. It's going to take a couple of shows. We're just going to cover what we can. But I want them to tell you a little bit about themselves. So, Roy, we'll start with you.
Like I said, we've been diving together since we were 16 years old. Both of us are ex-Navy, served during the evacuation of Vietnam, military contract divers. Fire department, retired. We were in charge of the dive team when both of us were firefighters, and we still dive for fossils today because it still puts a smile on our face and really enjoy it.
This is museum stuff right here. We're going to go over all this and all. Okay, Fred, what do you leave out?
Oh, a lot of stuff. I've been diving longer than him by a week, so I'm a better diver. We've been diving together since 1973. We've probably got in excess of 8,000 dives each put together. Wow. We're so good underwater, we come up within moments of each other.
Wow. And you teach, I know you teach pilots, y'all are still doing things.
Oh, yes.
You're teaching pilots when they turn upside down, y'all do all that kind of stuff.
We teach underwater egress after a helicopter's gone upside down in the water. We teach the pilots how to get out and do this or that.
Yeah.
We teach water survival. How to survive when you crash and you get out, things like that.
And you were on a boat about 2 weeks ago that they took that sperm whale out. You were part of that and all that, right? They drug it out.
I was a part of that.
They got so many stories, but today we're going to sort of concentrate on them diving for just finding things and all. And Roy and I talk about it. We see each other quite a bit. We see each other at Planet Fitness, and we talk sometime more and work out. But he's good about working out, staying in shape, and y'all do a lot of stuff for the fire department too. I'm gonna show a picture in a minute, but what? Just I don't know where to start. Just y'all start.
Just like I said, we've both been diving all of our life, and now that we're semi-retired, still do Navy dive contract work, but we dive the rivers for fossils, and these are some of the examples.
Let me interrupt one more time real quick. They did clean up the St. Andrew Marina and the Panama City Marina. These were the guys that did it, and we're going to do another show on that. Some of the stories they told me is something else. So that's another show, but go ahead.
After Hurricane Michael, we cleared up the marinas. These are some examples of what you can find in Florida's Panhandle rivers. I say there's a lot more than just fish and stumps down there. This is all, from mammoth teeth to whalebone, agatized coral, which is the Florida state rock, and just megalodon teeth, an array of stuff.
Y'all see that right there? Okay. Tell us about that.
That's about a 5-inch megalodon tooth, which means he would have been about 50 feet long. It's 1 inch per 10 feet, they estimate.
And these are river finds and all.
Yes.
And isn't it real dark? And
Well, the reason we have these is to go underwater and be able to see. Most of our visibility is usually this far. And good day diving in dark water is about this far, which is our length of our lights. You have to have this. You can't be a sissy to be diver in the rivers. It's too dark. There's too many trees. There's too many animals.
Yeah.
You have to know what you're doing. You have to be comfortable diving. Otherwise, you will get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, this is, and each one of these finds, each one is a story in itself. And we got all kind of stories, but I thought, tell us about that one in the case there.
I found this in the Chipola River. This is a matching pair of the rear molars of a mastodon. He was on top of them and didn't see him, and he swam by, and I got him.
No way.
Oh, yeah. If you bring it to the boat, it's yours.
So, I mean, that, the history, I mean, how old is that?
Oh, he knows more.
You're talking anywhere from 15,000 to a couple 100,000. You know, there's theories of how they became extinct.
All right, Jeff doing a close-up on it. So you see the ridges and all. Is that, you sort of felt that with your hand accidentally?
Well, actually, when he pushed off of the sand, it showed some of these ridges right here on the surface of the sand. So when he swam off and he didn't come back, I knew he forgot about it, didn't know about it. I uncovered it, and I'm like, oh, it's mine now.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
He's still upset about that one.
And that was a Chipola, right?
Chipola River. Yes.
And that water's fairly clear compared to some of the others, right?
Yes, Chipola is a nice river. It's rich in fossils, which most of the rivers in the Panhandle are rich in fossils. It's just a question of when they get unearthed, and there's a short window before they get covered back up by the sand. You know, and in order to collect fossils in Florida, you have to have a fossil permit that you get through Tallahassee. It's $5 a year. It's well worth it. You get to save some history, and you get to learn a lot about the Florida Panhandle.
Is there any particular time, like after a heavy rain and goes down, that it sort of clears up?
That's the best time to dive.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
After we get like a 24 inches of rain or something, you go to the rivers after it clears up a little bit. The rivers will move this much sand,
Really?
And then you go along the bottom, fan the pockets out, and you find all kinds of stuff. That's where you find a lot of this stuff. A lot of those things in the case were found after a big storm.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, the next segment, we'll put this case up over there if we can. And I'll tell you what, let's go ahead. We'll take a quick break and come back. We're going to have all kinds of more stuff. I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Sitting here with former Navy divers, Roy Dillon and Fred Backshaw, and their list of accomplishments are numerous. I asked them last night to just send me a couple of pictures. This explains a lot right here. This newspaper story on the national. Tell us about this right here. This sort of tells y'all a little bit younger then. Okay, tell us about
a lot younger. Than have gray hair, and I had hair. Yeah. But this is a competition down in Orlando for fire departments and police departments. And we went down there, and all these fancy cops had fancy things. We only came down with our personal gear, and we kicked their butts.
So y'all won all the awards down there.
Yeah, we got 4 first places out of 5.
What, 4 first places out of 5?
We represented the fire department pretty well.
I guess y'all were tickled with that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I got 3 pictures to show you, then we'll come back to the table. So what about these?
And this is a picture in the Cooper River in Charleston, South Carolina. You can see our helmets behind some of the teeth that we found. We dove for 2 days, 3 tanks a day.
Holy cow.
And the Cooper River, you're diving anywhere from 20 to 40 foot deep. It's black water, and that's why you need those lights to find, but it pays off big time, as you see.
You found these in like a couple of days?
In 2 days, yes, sir.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
And that particular river, you said it's the most famous one for divers?
It's one of the most famous fossil finding rivers in the country, the Cooper River.
And you hooked up with some people up there?
Yes, so they have charters, but you need to be an experienced diver if you go do that, because it takes a lot of knowledge to do it safely. I'll say that.
Heavy currents below biz.
Heavy current.
They actually give you 2 big screwdrivers to stick in the mud and hold yourself in place.
Really?
Yeah.
That was spooky in it. Okay, one more picture and then we'll get back. What's this one right here?
This is just an example of some of the fossils that you can find in our local waters.
Yeah.
On the left, that vertebrate that's in the matrix, that's probably a manatee vertebrate.
Okay.
The bottom 2 are juvenile megalodon teeth. Then the far right is a mastodon, which was a cousin of the mammoth. And the one in the back behind the quarter is a baby spit tooth of a woolly mammoth. And I say all these fossils came from Apalachicola, Chipola, Ockalochnee, all the local rivers, Ecofiner.
Wow.
It's all out there.
And how did you learn all the history on all this stuff? How to identify it?
Just when you do something that you really enjoy, you try to get as much knowledge as you can about what you're actually finding. And today with the internet, it's so easy to get access to find out what you're recovering. And so there's a lot of research as far as what we're finding. And if we come up on a bunch of bones, then we know we're going to start finding shark teeth, because they were feeding on these whales and manatee. So that's the reason you have to know what you're doing in order to actually find something.
What got me hooked on it is we went to FSU dive. They wanted volunteers to go to a river and pick up all the fossils. And as we brought them up, they would identify them. That got me hooked.
Okay, that's cool. Well, now tell us about these. What is this? Hold that up.
That's an example of a whale bone. And like I say, some of them you'll see serrations where the sharks were feeding on them, and there's like scratch marks.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but that's a whale bone. This is a inner ear of a whale. A lot of people say whales don't have ears. Well, they sing, so they must have ears so they can hear it. But that's the inner ear of a whale, and this is a whale tooth.
Wow.
Yeah. You'll find 50 whale ears for every tooth you find, because they don't fossilize as well. They just break up. So it's just the opposite of what you would think. This is a rib of a manatee, or its predecessor, a dugong.
It was here before the manatee. Wow.
Yes, sir. And that came out of Chipola River also. Yeah.
Wow.
Fred, that's...
How about this one?
This is fossilized coral. If you look at it inside here, that's what it looks like after it's been fossilized.
Yeah.
This is how it'd be upside down on the reef itself.
Oh, cool.
That's the coral head where all the polyps would be. Once it fossilizes, it goes through a real major exchange of stuff.
Outside of it. Wow.
And that's we call these sparklers.
Yeah, that druzy causes all that reflection factors.
What causes that reflection?
It's called druzy, and that's just the little facets that catch the light.
That's a little dance hall.
But that's the Florida State rock, agatized coral.
That is. That's the Florida State. I remember. So
Yes,
I've really never seen one in person like that.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
Withlacoochee River.
The
In
Withlacoochee.
Valdosta.
But doggone.
Yeah.
I had God, we got so much. You were telling me about the big things, alligator snapping turtle. And we're talking about some of the dangers they encounter. We know about sharks, but they've got all kind of shark stories. You're not going to believe those.
Yeah.
But these alligator snapping turtle, they can put a hurting on you.
Yes, sir. Everybody's always fearful of alligators, but alligators usually run from man unless they've been fed and they've lost that natural fear. But there's alligator snapping turtles that get 60, 80 pounds. And with the high ridges on their back, and they are territorial and can get quite dangerous. And I had an encounter one time where one came over and he popped me with his beak and shattered my mask, and actually it had cut my head. And at the time, you were allowed to carry bang sticks, and I was mad, but I realized I was in his house. He could have bit me and really hurt me. He was giving me a warning, so I'm glad I never went back and hurt him.
And that's cool. Yeah. That's cool. He was just that's his territory.
He just popped me with his beak.
Yeah. You be diving in the rivers and going under logs. You come face to face with them all the time.
Yeah.
You let out a little scream and move away.
Now, you were showing me in the video before it came on about how they just bite down on anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay, on the locations, and this is amazing. I asked them, they were talking about Ocklackney, and we've talked about Ocklackney a lot on the show, Lake Tarquin and all, and I knew nobody knows about Whitehead's Fish Camp, where I learned how to fish and hunt. Tell us about it.
Years ago, me and my dad went to Old Man Whitehead. The street is called Whitehead Street, and it was a dirt road that went past his house, and there was a little boat
You and I don't want to know about that, I swear.
And we used to talk to him when he was alive there, and he told me that he heard that there was teeth in the river there. And I dove there, and that's where a lot of our shark teeth came from, the Ocklackney by Old Man Whitehead's
No
house.
kidding.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, I wish my dad was still alive. I wouldn't wait to call and tell him about it. When we were catching those brim as a little kid, there was sharks. We did that one time. And he was the one that, how much was it to launch your boat?
It was $2, a dollar to launch and $1 to recover. And he walked down there from his house and he made sure you paid him.
That's exactly right. So we're talking about, the current and all. When the currents, where are the currents really bad in the river, the strong currents? What do y'all have?
It just depends on the water levels. If the water levels are high, the currents are really bad. There's rivers out here that we can't dive because at certain places we can't even hold on. Because if you turn your mask sideways, it'll blow it off your face.
You turn your mask over that way, then wow.
Yeah.
And
you have to swim a lot.
Yeah.
We spend 8 hours a day swimming upstream in a lot of rivers. Yeah. And people wonder why we're so tired at the end of the day.
Wow, y'all stay in great shape though.
Oh yeah.
And you already mentioned, Chipotle and all, but Holmes Creek is y'all found some good stuff in Holmes Creek?
Holmes Creek, every river on the Panhandle has something unique to it besides just fishing in it.
Yeah.
And there's stuff to be found. And that's the reason if you take the time, get some little experience in clear rivers before you go to the darker, and then once you have your light rig where you can actually recover some stuff, because there's not a lot of people down there, so it's a lot of virgin territory. So when you come up, there's stuff that's been laying there untouched by humans for hundreds and even sometimes millions of years.
Well, fishermen stay on the surface and they just fish.
Yeah.
No one knows what's actually on the bottom.
Yeah.
People have some other idea of what's on the bottom.
Yeah.
Unless you go down there, you'll never know.
Yeah.
Right, so
And
cool.
we do.
We're going to take our final break. We'll come out. They find some modern stuff too. They make a good living off finding some stuff underwater. Let's take our final break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Today with Roy Dillon and Fred Bagshaw. We got so much more to go over, and we're going to check on old Chase Seifert too on the golfing game, and we got Whitney back on the show.
Yes,
she's doing all kind of outdoor stuff now.
Yes, she is. She still hunts a lot.
That's awesome. But let's take a look at our fishing game times today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. Our time 4:48 to 6:48 this morning, and this afternoon 5:06 to 7:06. And before we talk about this, now y'all were Navy, y'all not necessarily Navy divers, you're Navy contract.
Correct. Yeah, we were both in the Navy during the evacuation of Vietnam, and when we got out, we became Navy dive contractors. We were not Navy divers while we were in.
And y'all do a lot of contract work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, folks, y'all got to see this. This is okay. We want check this out. Tell us about this. This is amazing.
These are local teeth we've got from different rivers around here. Like the biggest one in the center is a 6-inch, is got from Ocklawackee. The lighter one on the top left is from Venice, Florida. The rest of them are from all the other different rivers around the area within like a 300-mile radius.
What a great collection and well displayed, and it just all. And the real big one talking about Ocklawackee, what do you think? I know the story behind it, but what do you think? How big was that shark?
Well, that shark had to be at least 60 to 80 foot.
How big?
60 to 80 foot.
So basically a school bus with teeth.
Yeah.
If you think about it, the length of a school bus.
The length of a school bus, now, okay?
The story behind that tooth is I spent 3
tanks. You didn't say 6 to 8, you said 60 to 8, is that what you said?
Yeah.
60 to 80 foot. That's a big shark. I'm glad we don't have those around anymore.
You wouldn't feel it.
Yeah, you'd just be an after dinner mint.
Okay. When we were talking about working out one day, and he was talking about, we're talking about just generally, y'all make a good little, y'all pay for your trip sometimes on the stuff you find. So tell us about that.
Right.
Cool.
Besides diving for fossils, which was incredible, and just because of all the history you get into, these are underwater metal detectors that are available now for any sport diver. And this is a low profile, and you keep clipped to your BC, and that way when you see a swing or an old wreck or anything, you can find anything from gold, silver to, when we do recovery work for people from word of mouth, if anyone loses, whether it be an outboard or a shotgun or anything else,
yes,
we usually work, me and Fred are the guys that go and recover it for them.
Y'all remember that, if you lose something and all. Yeah. And you found all kind of rings and wedding bands. And
a lot of phones.
A lot of phones?
A lot of people lose their phones and they call us up to go find it.
Yeah. Tell us about a Chipotle. That's a gold mine.
There's, my daughters and wife, they have jewelry we've found from the rivers over the years. When weapons, if someone loses a weapon, they'll call us and recover it. Usually even in fresh water, they just take it apart, clean it, and it's good to go again. These things pay for themselves pretty fast.
Tell us real quick about that ring. You're not going all kind of detail, but how you found that ring.
Oh, I found a ring one time, and it had been in the water so long, it was black and crusted, and you couldn't even tell it was real. And so I thought it was a piece of brass pipe with zirconian stone. So I just tossed it back 20 feet into the boat. And when we both looked at it later, Fred he goes, that might be real, Roy, and took it to a cleaner, and he cleaned it.
It was.
And actually that ring ended up being anywhere from $12,000 to $16,000, the value of it.
Diamonds and gold.
And it had been in the river for 30 or 40 years.
He made the mistake of showing his wife the ring. Now she wears it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, now, we haven't got into the saltwater. When y'all come back on the show, we're going to talk about the saltwater side and the sharks and all that kind of stuff and all. But this is all freshwater, all this stuff here, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you found, what are some of the oldest, like you found old coins and stuff like that? Or?
You'll go, if you go to an old historical site, you'll find some silver coins, walking liberties, Indian heads, and just historical stuff from that same period. But the thrill of it is to say when this thing just goes off and you never know what you're going to unearth, and so that's the excitement.
I mean, you can't. I mean, you're seeing this far in front of you.
Yeah,
right?
it's limited visibility. That's the reason why the stuff's untouched.
And you just sort of feeling around. And
That's what we always joke. You have to have 20/20 hands because your eyes are useless.
A lot of people jump in the water and their hands shrink up in the cold water and their rings fall off, watches fly out, and they're having a good time, or they lean back and they lose their $300 pair of sunglasses. We swim along in the dark, gloomy water and we find it.
wow.
These, found those. Those are coasters.
Yeah.
Y'all stayed in constant supply and all. And y'all don't wear gloves. Y'all just do bare hands.
Well, no, you wear gloves because there's so much litter on the bottom and broken glass.
Yeah.
And when your hands after a while, you would get lacerations on your fingers. So we make it a point, anytime we go to any of the rivers, we'll fill the boat up with trash that we find on the bottoms.
We
also
have big bags like this,
clean.
big bags that we carry behind us, and every time we run across trash, we put it in the bag.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, we figure we're not going to leave it there.
Yeah.
These guys are the real deal now. I mean, this is amazing and all what y'all have found. And what's your plans coming up? I know you had a show. I mean, they're going to come back on our show, but what do y'all got?
Yeah, once in a while we'll go to a fossil show and just, you go there and you can sell one item to pay for your next trip. It's don't go into it thinking you're going to get rich, because it's for the enjoyment, it's for the knowledge. And like I say, whenever we do go, we always clean the bottom up. Any river we're in, we fill that boat up with trash. So we try to do our part just so that it'll be there for the next generation.
And it's a great way to stay in shape. I mean, you swim 8 hours.
Yeah.
You've got some exercise.
How many dives can y'all do in a day? I mean, what?
Depends on where we're at.
Yeah, but
sometimes we'll spend a whole tank on one area, or sometimes we'll just hit and miss a whole bunch of areas. But we always take 2 to 3 tanks.
Wow. Wow, that's good. And so we run out of time. I told y'all we're going to run out of time, didn't we? And so they're going to come back in another week or 2 or 3, whenever they get some time, and we got all kind of stuff to go over. Any closing remarks?
No, we've been doing this for over 50 years. We're both 65, and it still puts a smile on our face.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for coming on. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank y'all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. Do something good today for your fellow man. Have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.